Hi guys, so I'm going to read the Occult Files of Dr. Spektor number 3. This is published in August of 1973. So the Occult Files of Dr. Spektor. The Mummy's Soul. A 4,000-year-old sorcerer uses living bodies to stay alive. For years, my occult studies had turned up the name of the Egyptian sorcerer Ra-Katep. Naturally, I could not refuse when I had learned that his lost tomb had finally been discovered, and I was invited to witness its opening. The Occult Files of Dr. Spektor, the Mummy's Soul.
Did you have to get us camels to cross this desert, Adam? Horses I like, but camels?
Hang in there, Lakota. The excavation site of the tomb is just ahead. Heading the excavation was an American archaeologist, Professor Walter Dardy, whom I had known when he was curator of Egyptology at the Marshall Natural History Museum in the United States. Walter, I came as soon as you wired me. Adam, and this must be Miss Rainflower, the secretary you wrote me about. Your timing was perfect. We're just about to enter the tomb for the first time. As Walter led us into the underground tomb, Ra-Katep was an evil sorcerer, buried alive with a mystic golden mask to keep his spirit trapped within his corpse. There, the mummy of Ra-Katep, where it has lain since it was entombed during the 14th dynasty, over 37,000 years ago. But where's the golden mask? I don't know. According to all the legends and histories of that period, the mummy was buried with the mask over its face.
Could someone, grave robbers perhaps, have stolen the mask, Professor?
Perhaps. Then again, it might have been something else. As Walter turned away,
What did your friend mean by that?
I don't know. I was still pondering my former colleague's strange behavior as the sun began to set behind the scorched ruins of an ancient temple. A temple once erected for the worship of one of the gods of death, Anubis. Inside the temple, a lone occupant conjured up a vision through the sorceries of ancient Egypt.
So, after all these centuries of lying at rest, my mummified remains are being carried to a museum, so that all may behold the corpse of Ra-Katep, whose magic fell under the displeasure of the Pharaoh. For conjuring up the demons of the netherworld, the Pharaoh had me buried alive, with a gold mask to prevent my Ka, or spiritual twin, from entering the hereafter. Centuries later, men broke into my tomb. One of them stole the mask from my face, which released me from my state of limbo. I was alive and free. The thief was no match for my supernatural strength. It was simple for me to use the mask to send my spirit into his healthy body and transfer his dead soul into my lifeless carcass. My soul has lived within this stolen body for the past few years. Here, within the temple of Anubis, where I was once high priest, I have been lonely all this time. So lonely. Oh, Anubis, the jackal-headed god who leads the spirits of the dead to the netherworld, hear me. My corporal self has come into the possession of Occidental infidels. They must not profane it with their unholy eyes. They shall not keep my mummified remains. This swears Rakatep. I'll regain my real body, and then bring an evil curse upon those who dared steal it from my tomb. But how do I get back my corpse? My magic is not capable of spiriting the mummy from the museum to this temple, and I would risk capture or death to this physical body of mine if I try to steal it myself. However, even bullets would prove useless against a body that is technically already dead. Yes, there may be another way.
Soon, at the Egyptian Museum, where Walter was carrying on his work. I don't like the absence of the mask, Adam. It smacks of the occult. Remember, the occult is my business. So please explain. According to these tablets taken from Ra-Katep's tomb, the mask also had the power to send his soul into another body. Do you know what that implies? Yes. Someone else may have entered the tomb before us. After lifting off the mask, the mummy could return to life. Then Ra-Katep could have used the mask to project his Ka into the man's body.
Adam, you can't be serious.
Lakota, after all we've been through since you began working for me, your constant skepticism never ceases to astound me. But there are more important things to do now than making you a believer in the supernatural. Walter, in my studies I have learned to read Egyptian hieroglyphics. Would you mind if I stayed at the museum after closing time and translate them? Be my guest.
We're not going to take in the sights on our first night in Egypt.
I'm sorry. I just can't leave until I learn all I can about Rakatep.
All right. I know when I can't win. I'll start earning my salary by writing down whatever you translate.
I translated for hours, then sent Lakota out to bring back some food. When? That noise! Someone else is in the museum. The footsteps are not Lakota's. Until I learn what is happening, I better wait in the shadows. No, it wasn't Lakota, but a man garbed as if from another age. I listened to him speak Egyptian words, not heard on this earth for centuries. And, as the man in the attire of a 14th dynasty high priest slumped to the floor, the dead eyes of the mummy opened. The gaze enshrouded limbs moved. Then, with the most infernal luck,
Adam, I'm back.
Oh no, Lakota! If only I could warn her before.
No! No!
Even from where I stood, I could see that strange light in the mummy's eyes, as the monster beheld Lakota's beauty.
Adam!
But Lakota's Apache blood was boiling. What could I do? I couldn't bring myself to damaging the mummy, and yet I had to do something to save Lakota. If I can reach the mask, use it to reverse the spell, get his car back in the other body. Angered, the mummy clutched my throat with its steel-like fingers. Strong as a demon. With the ease of lifting a baby, Rakatep bore the beauteous Indian girl in his powerful, bandaged arms, leaving me drowning in a sea of darkness. Had I not put myself in a yogi trance as he choked me, I would have never escaped death. As I awakened, the body he used to walk in the museum, dead, and Lakota is gone. After phoning Walter and telling him what had happened, I read in these tablets that Rakatep once served as high priest in the temple of Anubis. That temple is now in ruins, off the Nile River. It's not far from here, so if I hurry, I may not be too late. While in the temple of Anubis, the deity who guided the souls of the dead through the netherworld.
Oh, how I wish I did not have to keep her chained, but she is too spirited, almost savage in her attempts to escape. How long I've been alone, and desired such a beauty to be my bride. But in this dried form, I am repulsive to her.
Keep your dead hands off me. If Adam Spektor were here, he'd do something. And if I could break these chains, I'd...
She apparently has affection for Spektor,
but I can only transfer my car into a living body. And I killed Spektor in the museum. If only I had known then.
Meanwhile, I was running alongside the snaking Nile, hurrying to the long-abandoned Temple of Anubis. Once inside the temple...
Don't look at me like that, with those cold, lifeless eyes.
Lakota's voice. Blast it. The mummy must have heard me. He's looking back at me.
So Spektor yet lives. Splendid, then. I'll not have to stay in this body, which can neither speak nor work magic.
As the mummy approached, I ran past Lakota to an adjoining room and grabbed a torch. I cannot desert Lakota, but I haven't yet formulated a plan for combating that monster. Maybe this torch will stop him. The creature moved stiffly, but with unbelievable speed. Before I could turn, there was no describing the feeling I had, as I felt my very being stripped from my body. Then the darkness came.
You cannot hear me, Dr. Spektor, because your spirit is now in my body, and quite dead. My soul, however, lives in your body. And now to claim the spoils of our little conflict.
Adam, I was so worried that the mummy would kill you. But what happened? What did you do to that monster? And how did you know where to find the key to these chains?
I will explain everything later. Right now, I want to free you. Then, without further words...
She is so lovely, so warm and vibrant. It has been almost 4,000 years since I last held such a woman.
I know this is rather sudden, and a peculiar place to ask, but would you honor me by becoming my bride?
What? You're proposing to me? Oh, Adam, you know I will. Yes, yes.
Then let us leave this place of ancient memories and death, and go out into the world of the living. Fortunately, I had read about the golden mask on those Egyptian tablets, and learned of a counterspell, which could be said mentally to keep my spirit from perishing. I live! But I was trapped, in a monstrous body. It was difficult at first, but I moved, and my body smelled of mold and death. As I stiffly walked into the adjoining room, I saw Lakota with the fiend who inhabited my body. I wanted to call out to her, but the mummy's dried vocal cords could no longer function.
Adam, the mummy!
No, it's impossible. The mummy should be dead. Dead!
In the truly living body, I am free to work my magic. That should stop the mummy, without physically damaging it.
What are you doing, Adam?
Somehow, in the body of the mummy, I knew that Rakatep's magic worked only on men truly alive, and not a lumbering corpse.
He remains unaffected.
Emerging from the spell unscathed, I reached out for the fiend. It was an incredible sensation, clutching my own wrist.
No! Release me!
Lakota lashed out at the body my soul inhabited. There was hatred and a repulsion in her eyes. As I paused to look at her, Rakatep slipped from my grasp, and during the confusion,
It saddens me to leave that lovely girl, but at this moment, my own safety is more important.
I can't blame her for attacking me, for in her eyes, I am only a monster. Still, it's somehow comforting to know she feels this way about Adam Spektor. As I emerged outside the temple, I saw Rakatep. He seemed to know that he could not escape me on the ground, and climbed the temple itself, hoping that the living mummy could not follow. My eyes had caught a glimpse of his face, a face smitten by blind fear. Did he really believe there was an escape atop those white bleached walls? No. He was spurred by panic, and I, in my dusty bandaged incarnation, was the source of that panic. The strength I possessed in the mummy's body was phenomenal, and Rakatep had only the mortal strength of Dr. Spektor.
I can go no farther. If I fall from this height, I'll be killed. Yet, the mummy still advances.
No! No! Keep away! Ah! Ah! I began to raise the golden mask to my face that had once been my own, but as we struggled, our footing became unsteady. Rakatep slipped. Then, the waiting waters of the Nile.
Professor Doherty, thank goodness you're here. Adam and that living mummy just...
I know. I saw the last few moments of the conflict. Then, something alive emerged from the water.
Wait, Professor, look, it's...
I had taken advantage of Rakatep's panic, and, taking him by surprise underwater, thrust the mask over his face, and mentally said the proper spell, returning my soul to my own body. I'm sorry about what happened to the mask, and the mummy of Rakatep. They're both at the bottom of the Nile. I know. Perhaps it's for the better.
Oh, Adam, I thought you'd be... Wait a second. Why should I want to marry someone who deserted me back there? Left me at the mercy of that monster.
Marry you? But I never said... Lakota, I've been through a lot this night, and I'm tired. Now get into this jeep and calm down. I don't feel like arguing. I just want to sit down. Naturally, Lakota knew nothing of the exchange of souls between Rakatep and myself. I was actually the monster she thought Atom Spektor had left her with. Yes, there was much to explain my attractive Indian secretary, and much to discuss while taking in the magnificent sights of Egypt. The end. Gold! How long that precious mineral has glinted in the eyes of greedy men, inspiring them to commit heinous acts for the possession of it. When Joe Matucha's eyes were attracted to the glittering metal, Joe discovered that acquiring it could involve the supernatural. The occult files of Dr. Spektor. A weird new world for Joe Matucha. Old Nabaza, the witch doctor, had been performing the ritual for over 40 years. Now his hands quivered as he placed the auric treasures beneath the rays of the African sun and before the staggering idol of the gorilla god.
So, the old charlatan is still at it. I used to believe all that mumbo-jumbo of my tribe. That is, until I was lucky enough to get educated in the city. But my people still follow their primitive ways. That's a laugh.
Nabaza was a wise old man, although he sensed that his actions were being observed. He thought it best to continue the rite, according to tribal custom.
And as is always done, Nabaza is dropping a king's ransom in gold for the ritual. The city taught me just how much that metal is worth.
Then, taking the ceremonial horn that had been used in the rituals since before the time of his grandfather, Nabaza completed his duties. There followed the sound of padded feet, crushing vegetation. The bushes moved. Summoned by the ceremonial horn, the bull ape thundered into view, its black cloaked a sleek sheen in the sunlight.
I welcome you, O great one, and offer you more of our wealth. Take it, and treat my people with all your divine benevolence.
The monster beat his mighty breast, then turned, attracted by the gleaming offerings left by the witch doctor.
And now, just like when I was a child, another fortune in gold is carried off by a non-thinking brute animal.
After the gorilla had vanished in the jungle.
So, Nabaza, you still make offerings to your absurd gorilla god? Matucha, I heard that you were coming back to your tribe after learning the ways of city life. The name's Joe Matucha now, Nabaza. And I've learned what a crime it is to keep offering gold to an ape. Do not mock the gorilla god, Matucha. Gorilla god? Grow up, man. The jungle is full of gorillas, and none of them knows the difference between gold and coal. Ha 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 ha! This so-called civilization has made you a heretic. You reject the old ways and blaspheme against them, and someday your heresy shall prove your undoing.
There was no more to be said, and after the witch doctor had hobbled off.
Every month an ape carries off a fortune that would serve me much better. I'm getting a brainstorm.
And so Joe Matucha had come home, only to be conquered by his own greed. Immediately, he made preparations and began to put his bizarre scheme into practice.
I can remember enough of my days spent running around the jungle in a loin cloth, so it shouldn't be too difficult tracking an oafish gorilla. He leaves a nice trail. Tss, tss. Wait, that noise! Sounds like something is alive up there in the treetops. Yeah, there he is. Over 600 pounds of solid muscle. And it looks as if it sees me.
As if knowing that the man below was its enemy, the gorilla god swung from the treetop.
I'd never stand a chance against that killer if it caught me in those arms. So, as the man said, I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. I make the first shots count. Dead, all right. And the gold is nowhere in sight. But I don't care. The plan I've thought up will get me more gold. A lot more gold.
There would not be another offering of gold to the gorilla god for a month, and that was plenty of time for Joe to prepare his simian hide. Finally, sometime later,
Beautiful! The ape god's own mother wouldn't know the difference. Ha 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 ha!
there was only a short time to wait. On schedule, Nabaza sounded the sacred horn, which summoned the gorilla god. Dressed in the skin of the slain ape, Joe Matucha awkwardly made his way to the village clearing.
I've got to be real careful. I can't step out of character for a moment, or I've had it. It's almost impossible to keep from laughing at the old man, the way he thinks I'm a god, and kneels before me. At last, the gold is mine, and this isn't the end. I can keep up this act indefinitely.
But as the disguised Joe Matucha lumbered off with his prize.
Wait, something is wrong. My old eyes are still keen enough to see that. The gorilla god somehow behaves more like a man. I had better follow him, for if my suspicions prove correct.
Presently, the elderly witch doctor came upon a clearing, where,
Ha! That old fool Nabaza. If he could only see me now, and know how I duped him. All this gold. Mine! Mine! Nabaza! So, the ape talks, and the voice is familiar. It is you, Matucha, wearing the skin of the gorilla god. You have committed the ultimate of sins in order to satisfy your own craving for gold. Now that you know what I've done, the secret will have to go with you to the grave.
but before the ape-suited Matucha could finish his grisly act,
Huh? Someone's shooting at me.
that ape is trying to kill the native. Come on, let's shoot the beast. The ape's running off. We can still get him.
No, don't shoot him.
But that monster almost killed you. He's dangerous and should be shot.
He is not worthy to receive your bullets. He deserves worse punishment. Now, if you will permit me a few moments' silence.
Then Nabaza crouched forward and spoke words unheard in the jungle for perhaps 100 years. The curse of the gorilla god. And, as the witch doctor concluded the curse, Joe Matucha was already lost among the lush jungle flora.
I'm safe. I may have lost the gold back there, but at least I got away with my life. I can always go back, take care of Nabaza, and finish what I set out to do. Gold! I stumbled upon the pile of gold the ape god stashed away. No sense in leaving this mask on anymore. I want to see that gold without... Huh? The mask seems stuck. It won't budge. What's happening? I can't find the seam. There's no way to get this costume off. I'm trapped inside. No!
Then he heard them coming. Suddenly, the clearing was filled with gorillas, and Joe Matucha knew that even if he could remove the gorilla suit, it would prove fatal to do so.
No, I found the home of the gorilla tribe, and they think I'm one of them.
Yes, Joe Matucha found his gold, all right. Too bad there was no place to spend any of it. But then, as he himself had said, what use would a gorilla have for gold? In the end. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests you want me to do, just let me know in the comments, and I'll tell you when I can do the request. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.